All right, hello, welcome to the weather update. It's almost 9 o'clock on January 16th, 2022, and mixed bag of things going on right now across the area. But I want to actually, before we even get started with this weather update, I want to talk about this Tonga eruption that happened. And this was a huge eruption here that happened here on a volcano off Tonga, which the island of Tonga has experienced catastrophic flooding and has been cut off. We don't know exactly what's going on there. Has only been limited, but they experienced a tsunami. But this is a huge eruption right here, and this is the biggest volcano eruption that we've had since Mount Pinatubo and the Philippines. And we all know what Mount Pinatubo did. It cooled the planet down for a couple of years. If judging by the amount of ash that this thing just put into the atmosphere, we may experience some cooling. I'm hoping we may experience some cooling, but that there is the volcano right there, and it affected around the globe. And even in Alaska, they heard booming sounds. So it traveled all the way to Alaska. They heard it in Australia. They heard it in Alaska, 6,000 miles away from the volcano. Absolutely crazy. And there were these pressure jumps even in our area. The pressure wave went around the world from this volcano, which is absolutely crazy how big this volcano was. And it caused some tsunamis. Here you go. Here's some tsunamis. Very small tsunami coming into Oregon. It even reached over there. You can see there's the wave going into the creek. So really impressive to see this. Here's another tsunami time lapse of the tsunami wave coming in here in Safe Harbor, Venture Isle. It's in California. So you could sort of see it coming in there. There it is. You can sort of see it coming in, water rising. Very impressive to see that coming in and coming out. Tide gauge. There it is on the tide gauge. Here's a little simulation of the pressure wave as it went across the whole country. Look at the red. That's the pressure wave. And it went across the whole country. We felt that pressure wave even here. And you know something? Right around 9:30, 10 o'clock, I distinctly remember I was sort of lying in bed and just feeling something move. It almost felt like a little bit of an earthquake yesterday. I don't know what the hell that was. Was that from the volcano? I've never felt anything like that before. So we don't know what the heck it was. If you felt something around yesterday morning, let us know. Here is another satellite image of this thing. Look at that. There's numerous satellite image animations. Here's another one. Here's another satellite animation right here. I mean, this is a big event. This is the biggest event we've had on the planet geologically for a very long time. So let's see. It's going to show in a minute. There you go. Look at that big eruption. There you go. Look at that. You can see the shock wave coming out from it. It's really incredible to see. And so here we go. Dramatic changes. Looks like the whole part of the island collapsed from this eruption there. So absolutely crazy. We got one more to watch here. Look at that. There you go. Absolutely crazy. And one other thing that we're going to play for you right now, and that is this. This is a clip. This is Alaska, 6,000 miles away. They heard this thing. I'm surprised there aren't more videos of this because a whole lot of people heard this thing. And like, there's hardly any videos of the sonic boom. But here is one from Alaska. That's the first one. That's the main one right there. But you can hear it. It's crazy. 6,000 miles away. That's insane. All right. So I figured I'd show that to you as well. We'll get to the storm now. All right, but very impressive, very impressive. All right, so getting back to the storm, we have a mixed bag here of what is going on in our area right now. And let me just closing that we're really praying for the people of Tonga, which is this very small island nation that we don't know exactly what's going on because they've been cut off by, they've lost power and they've been cut off. And we don't know. We don't know exactly what's going on there at this point. Hopefully, we'll know more later. But anyway, getting to our weather, we've got a mixed bag over our area right now. And when I mean by mixed bag, is I was on the South Shore, and it's raining there. All right, so let's take a look. So we'll show you the traffic cameras. Oh, look at Merrick here, and you'll see it's raining. The road is wet. Here's Belmore. It's wet. Right here is Meadowbrook Parkway, wet. All right, but the minute you make your way north, right, still wet. But I mean, your way here north, look what happens. Start seeing some snow on the ground. All right, these cameras really don't do a good job of it. Let's see. All right, so this is, again, Meadowbrook Parkway right here. All right. I'm at Wantagh Parkway, so you can see it's really these cameras aren't very good. You can't really see anything. But if we go, let's look at Levittown. Starting to see some snow on the ground. All right, so it was raining basically. I was riding the bus back, and literally the minute we got, I would say, to this spot right here in Freeport, the ground just started getting covered with snow. It was the strangest thing. Unfortunately, these cameras don't do a good job of showing what's going on. But you can see that there is snow. Well, it looks wet over there, but there is snow on the ground. All right. It is snowing. Let's see. I mean, geez, it's like, I mean, the lenses they use on these cameras are just awful. All I gotta say. I know it's just a traffic camera, but yeah, you can see the snow on the ground at Mineola. But I have my pictures of my own. So this is what it looked like when I got back to Mineola. First of all, this is what it looked like in Belmore. I just took that picture of the lake right there. But anyway, looking at Mineola, this is what it looked like here in Mineola. And you can see we definitely had a coating of snow on the sidewalks, everything pretty much coated with snow, a little slippery out there. Here is another picture from Mineola. You can see the snow falling here. So we definitely had snow, and it's still snowing, but it is going to change to rain very shortly. If we look at the radar right now, you can see where that line is. So that line is now moved up to around, I would say, maybe Hempstead Turnpike, where it's changed over to rain. And that line is going to continue to advance northward. But you can still see the northern half, northern Nassau. Anyway, well, if you, not northern Nassau, but if you cut Nassau in Suffolk in two pieces, the northern half, where it's snowing and raining south of that in the southern part. So it's all going to change to rain anyway, so it's kind of a moot point, but I figured I would point that out to you, that we do have that snow on the ground. Let's see if we can get another. Yeah, you can see the snow on the ground here. So the resolution is really bad on these cameras. But you can see it's snow on the ground there, but if you go, again, if we go and we look at, you can see no snow there. No snow there. Here's the Meadowbrook Parkway. Again, that camera, it's not even aimed at the ground. You can't even, it's a good view of the sky, though. You can see no snow on the ground here in Freeport, all right? But at the minute you go a little further north, you start seeing snow on the ground. Let's see if we can you can sort of see it. There's drops on the lens, but you see the snow on the ground. So just a little bit further north, you can see there's a coating of snow. So really interesting to see that. Just that change, that line set up right there like that. But nonetheless, it's a moot point because it will all change over to rain very shortly. Maybe a coating of snow for us, but that's about it. And you can see all the heavy rain that we are going to be dealing with. It's all over New Jersey. And then here's the really heavy stuff, the really big storms here right now over Virginia Beach. I don't know why the second part of that is not loaded. Come on. There we go. But you can see, look at that heavy rain there. This is some really heavy rain. Tropical feeders coming right in. Look at that. You can see that tropical feeder. And again, the site is being very, very slow. But you can see that tropical feeder there coming into Virginia Beach right there. And that is what we're going to be dealing with a little later. And we're really concerned about that. So let's go to the observations next and take a look and see what we have going on across the area as far as temperatures and weather conditions go. Right off the bat, let's get to all our advisories. The winter weather advisory, that's, well, for the north and west. That's not going to be an issue for us, but we are under a coastal flood warning. We are under a coastal flood warning, so coastal flood warning remains in effect from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Monday, and we're going to see possibly inundation of widespread moderate to locally major flooding of vulnerable areas is likely along the waterfront and shoreline including roads, parking lots, parks, lawns, homes, and businesses with basements near the waterfront. So there's going to be several problems. Breaking waves of 4 to 7 feet. This is going to be very bad for the barrier islands. Very bad at all. And like I said, I would be surprised. I expect that possibly. I'm surprised they have not evacuated Fire Island. I haven't heard of it anyway. High wind warning also in effect for eastern Suffolk, so southeast Suffolk, northeast Suffolk. The East End is going to have a high wind warning, and that is from midnight tonight till 10 a.m. on Monday. East winds of 35 to 45 miles an hour with gusts 60 to 65. Could be even bigger than that, in my opinion. And I think the rest of us is dealing with a wind advisory, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So the rest of our area is dealing with that wind advisory. That's going to be in effect with east winds 25 to 35, gusts 45 to 55 expected across our area. But I think that there could be some higher gusts in that, in the thunderstorms that we're going to get. Storm warning, obviously, offshore. We got a storm warning in effect. So we got all these things going on right now. Let's go take a look at some observations. Let's go back to the observations. So temperatures have risen a great deal throughout the day. We started off, we'll look at islip here, and we'll take a look at islip. And we started off around, let's see, we look at the morning here. We were very cold last night. It looks like it got down to 7 at islip. All right, and so very cold last night before the clouds rolled in, and then you can see the temperature sort of just climbed up. Started at 20s, then 30s, and now we're getting closer to 40 degrees, and the winds are starting to pick up from the east. So you can see that change there going on. And if we look at the temperatures, you can see it's already 40 out east. You can see north and the west, it's colder. 32 still in Central Park, still at the freezing mark. Looking at New Jersey, they're even warmer. They're 44 right now in Toms River. And that's going to be rising even more. You can see the further south we go, the warmer it gets. The red is these wind gusts here that are already being reported. So if we go south into where that really stormy band is, you can see wind gusts up to 40, temperatures in the 50s. And then look over here. Here you go, wind gust of 45 and nearly 50 mile an hour wind gust there at Virginia Beach. So that's what we're going to start dealing with as this thing moves north. And that's pretty warm air there, mid-50s. With the dew points in there, you'll see dew points also in the 50s. So it's going to be warm, humid air. Look at this buoy here. We're already reporting 48. Let's see, we're looking at this buoy, 44066. Its temperature is 48 degrees, dew point 41, east-southwest east wind at 36, gusting to 45. So that's what's coming up. And note the water temperature, 51. That is quite a bit warmer than it should be. Wave height already nearing 10 feet. And it's going to get a lot worse than that. And these winds are already picking up offshore, you can see. We're already starting to see those winds pick up. Again, if we throw the dew points in our area, you'll see the dew points have risen. So let's take a look at our low temperatures this morning. We'll take a look at the low temperatures briefly here, and you can see 1 degree. So we did eventually get that radiational cooling. 1 degree in West Hampton, 2 in East Hampton. So we did eventually get that radiational cooling. Let's see in New Jersey what kind of radiational cooling they got. It looks like they're around 7 in their Pine Barren, 6. So Lakehurst got down to 6. So that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive for our area. That's pretty impressive low temperatures right there. 1 degree at West Hampton is very, very impressive to say the least. And like I said, I'm not at all surprised because we did eventually lose. Winds lightened. We got light winds. We had enough clear sky that radiational cooling was able to take hold. And with such low dew points, you knew right now 41. What a change in temperature that is from 1 degree this morning up to 40, almost 40 degrees now. That is insane, but this is what it looked like here in West Hampton. Again, very impressive to see that radiational cooling, but you could see when the winds really got very light and the temperature was able to drop, and we were able to get that radiational cooling before the clouds rolled in. And we did start off with some sunshine, but then the clouds rolled in. So here we are at the satellite image. We'll look at several versions of the satellite image. Here's our storm. You clearly see it. The surge of moisture coming up. And the thick clouds that have now rolled in to our area. Let's take this out a little bit to an eastern U.S. Atlantic coast view so that we can get a little bit of a wider view on this storm. So there's the storm right there. You can see that. Let me go to the CONUS view, or maybe the Eastern U.S. view. It might be maybe a little better. We'll just do the CONUS view so you get an idea there. So it just kind of shows. It's such a big storm, you have to actually go all the way out to look at it. There it is. You can sort of see the center of it inland. And then there's that moisture, this moisture coming right up there, right out of the tropics, right up into our area right there. And that is what's going to give us these heavy, heavy rain, strong winds, it's a very strong low-level jet of very warm, humid tropical air that's going to be forced to rise as it meets this colder air, and that's why we're going to see all this precipitation tonight. And like I said, we got to worry about that wind. That is going to be a big, big, big issue for today. Let's look at the MODIS satellite here. And we will look at the MODIS satellite just to show you again that we did start off clear. There was a little bit of clear sky in the morning, but then the clouds kind of quickly rolled in on us. And only if you were in New England did you really have enough day to say, all right, you had a good sunny day. But for us, we kind of had to deal with a lot of clouds, so it wasn't a really clear day at all. So let's go back to this because we want to look at all the lightning. You can see, look at all this thunderstorm activity over the Bahamas here. And there was a tornado in Florida. That's right. We got to talk about that too. If we turn off the lightning here, and we'll go here and you see, let's pull this out, just get an idea of the size of the storm. So in the cold air, you're getting a lot of heavy snow, and in the warm air, you're going to be getting a lot of heavy rain and severe weather. Now, if we go to AccuWeather, I think AccuWeather will have something on this. Let's out that tornado. Let's see. Let's see. Have anything? Nothing on the tornado. Okay. Well, there was a tornado in Florida today. Florida tornado. I'll have to Google it. So tornadoes destroy dozens of homes and leave 7,000 customers without power. There was an EF2 tornado in Fort Myers. Tornadoes strike southwest Florida. Here you go. Here's a video. So you get a chance of what it looks like here. Look at that. There's a tornado right there. You see it? There it is. Look at that. That's crazy. So, yeah, tornado. Absolutely insane. Tornadoes in Florida. Absolutely crazy to see this in January. But it's all part of this huge storm system that's just stirring up the atmosphere and causing all this mayhem. So let's take a look at the models now. And should have enough of the models in as we get toward it's a little after 9 o'clock now, so we should have the HRRR in. So that's the one I'm going to go to first. We're going to take a look at this storm as it starts entering our area. 0Z HRRR, yeah, we've got that in. So here we go on the 0Z HRRR. And this is a look at the northeast as this thing gets closer. So we're going to have rain tonight, becoming occasionally heavy, especially as you get later on, like 10, 11 o'clock. But the really heavy stuff, the line, this line is feeder band, and it really has it exploding over Long Island too, especially as it gets over Suffolk County. This feeder band looks like it's going to arrive. Let's see, the 10Z. So that is around 5 in the morning. So between 3 and 5 in the morning is when this line, probably more like around 5 in the morning or so. 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning is when this line is going to hit. And there's a good possibility we're going to see some thunderstorms. Nothing from the SPC on any severe thunderstorms, but honestly, I think it's possible. But you can see here, that is a huge, just a drenching, torrential rainstorm that is going to wind up hitting us there. But the good thing is it's moving fast, so it won't sit over the area for too long. And then for the rest of the day, just a slight chance of a rain or snow shower. I think we dry out by the afternoon. But this is actually the 23Z run. Why am I looking? Oh, boy. All right. The 0Z run is the one I want to look at. All right. So it's kind of dialed back on the intensity a little bit. This is the 0Z run. But anyway, as you get toward the later part of the day, we dry out. But that is, like I said, very impressive, to say the least. We have a 1Z run. But that's not going to take us far enough. But the 0Z run, let's take a look at how much rainfall we're going to get from this In fact, I'm going to go to the 23Z REN because I think that's a little more accurate, believe it or not. Let's go total accumulated precip, and it's showing that 1 to 2 inch amount, again, that we're going to see. All right. The other thing, temperatures. So let's take a look at those temperatures here. I'll go back to the 0Z run on that. So here are the temperatures, and you will see that warm surge of air coming in. So we're going to shoot up to around 50 degrees with that tropical feed. It's going to really just like be a surge of warmth, but it's going to be brief because after that pulls out for the rest of the day, we're going to be in the 40s and then 30s. So you're going to be near 50 in the morning, but by the afternoon, you're going to be dropping into the 30s as the colder air kind of returns into the picture again. And then after this thing pulls out, we're back into the cold air for Tuesday. Not quite as brutally cold as it was, with highs around 30 degrees, which is a lot more bearable, obviously. But you can see that surge of moisture. Let's look. I'll show you the dew points so you can again see that surge of moisture and wind that come in with that surge of moisture. There's that surge of moisture. So you have that strong southeasterly wind, and then the winds after that, the winds die off a little bit, go to the south, then southwest, and then as we go into the evening, westerly. And then that drier air comes back into the picture, westerly and northwesterly again behind that. So we're going to look at a couple of models here. So let's now go and look at the wind. This is the wind model, and you can see the strong winds, and you can see, look at that bit of purple right there. That could be a severe thunderstorm over there. It looks like over West Hampton. So wherever these thunderstorms hit, you could have those wind gusts. I would not rule out an 80-mile-an-hour wind gust in these thunderstorms. Honestly, I would not rule out at all one bit. I think that could be a definite possibility at this point. But again, if we look at the 850 winds, and this is the LLJ, this is the low-level jet, so any thunderstorms, when they form, can tap into this energy aloft, bring it down to the surface, and that's how you can get your really strong wind gusts. And you can see that time frame there, around 5 in the morning, is when we're going to see the worst of it, man, and moves into New England after that. Now, let's go back to this. Let's look at the NAM3. And we have 13 hours of the NAM3 in. So let's look at the 0Z NAM3. This is the latest one. We'll see how far it's going to take us. Not as impressive on this with the rain on the NAM3, but I still am very concerned about the potential for the severe thunderstorms on this as well. Let's go to the NAM12. And we have a little more of this in. So this is the NAM12, so you get a little lower resolution, but I think it's actually more accurate as to what's going to happen here. But you can see that slug of tropical moisture, that's LLJ, literally tropical express coming in to the area there. And again, if we look at the winds, let's go to the winds here, and you can see what it's going to do. So you can see the worst of the wind looks like it's going to be over the east end. That's why they have that high wind warning in effect. And you can start seeing these wind gusts after 3 a.m. Ramping up quite quickly, and especially over the east end, you're going to see wind gusts, I think, in excess of 70 miles an hour, pretty likely. And then that moves on and into New England. All right. The other concern, of course, we know, and we've been over it already, is the water, the sea level. The sea level. I don't think this model has that, but it's the HRRR that had it. Let's see if we have the HRRR. Let's see if the HRRR has the sea level. One of them had it. The waves, I don't know. I think it was just the GFS that had it. All right, but if we look at the GFS, which is a little bit of a lower resolution model, but you can see the similar idea with this. But if we look, this one has the significant wave height. So the waves, this is going to be a significant coastal flooding event for the South Shore. Significant. Could be the worst since Sandy, perhaps. Good news is it moves quickly, but it's enough to cause damage quickly, especially because it's close to the time of high tide, and we have a full moon out. Those are all things that are not good for, it's in favor of flooding, significant flooding. I want to go back to the Precipitation. We're going to look at another model. Let's go to the HDRPS, which is another little experimental model, but you can look at this one too, and you can see again that slug of moisture there coming into the area. That is one hell of a tropical express there. It's going to be coming into the area and bring some very heavy rain And with that, I don't know if this one does winds. All right, it does winds too. So you can see the winds that are going to accompany this thing as well. So it's going to be pretty impressive, to say the least. Now, as far as skies go, we'll look at the RGM for a little bit here to show you this. What, is that an eye? But this is the RGM here. Obviously, clouds stick around tomorrow, but Tuesday, we should see the sun again. I think we'll have some sunshine on Tuesday. Maybe a few clouds to start. I think it gets better later on in the day, and then more clouds roll in. Now, after we're done with this storm, I'm going to briefly just go over the rest of the week here. Let me go to the CONUS view, GFS, and just show you what's going to happen. So this storm pulls on out of here. Gusty northwest winds behind that high. Colder air coming back in. Another front comes through Thursday, and then right now the models were forming a coastal low, but right now it's keeping it suppressed. But it could be another storm, perhaps. Chance would have to see on it has Monday, January 24th. So with all this cold air around, it's only a matter of time before we get a decent big snowstorm, which we have not seen yet so far. And there will be plenty of cold air because if we look at the temperature anomaly chart here, we'll show you this here. So here's your shot for Tuesday. It warms up. Then a bigger shot comes in Thursday into Friday. That's going to be a pretty bit of cold blast like what we had. A little bit of a break. And then another huge one Monday behind that storm system. So we're in a real deep freeze here. It's almost like a polar vortex kind of thing that happened a number of years back. If we look at the actual air temperatures, you will see here that once we get beyond Tuesday, we recover on Wednesday a little bit, but then the next cold front comes through Thursday. We're back into the upper 20s, lows at night in the teens, and then Friday we have trouble making it to 20 degrees, and we stay below freezing Saturday, and then that next storm system would come through, bring us the chance for snow, and then here we are Monday, bitterly cold air again on the 24th of Monday, and we're back in that bitterly cold weather again. Now, just for fun, let's look at the total snowfall. And it still isn't, the GFS is kind of low resolution for this. But let's just go to this here. Let's look at that storm for Monday. I think it's Monday here. So this is the storm right here. It looks like it's a close call. It might be rain for us. But again, keep an eye on that. That's our next chance right now. The other storm's looking like it's being suppressed. We can go to the CONUS view and look at the Canadian model. And we'll look at the European model as well. So this is the Canadian model. And the Canadian model is a little more favorable for something on the weekend. You can see the Canadian model has a good storm going on the weekend. Right, that's the Canadian model, though. Not known for accuracy. And if we want to look, we could also look at the Icon model. Icon model only goes out that far, so it's not going to take us out far enough. It's not going to take us out far enough. We can go to the European model. So this is the European. Oh, we don't have enough of that either. Okay, well, we'll look at some other. We're going to look at more models. Don't worry. Let's shift gears to a different model here, so we can focus on the wind. And Windy's a good model for that. So let's go ahead and look at that. So this is getting in tonight. I'm going to put this into the wind gusts mode, so you get an idea of what's going to be happening. And again, this is based on the European model here. So here we're at midnight. Winds are picking up. You can see we're already getting gusts to 44 over the waters. We're already over 50. And you can see there's that jet coming into Chesapeake Bay. So move this in here. And you can see at the Jersey Shore now we're getting wind gusts 50 to 70 miles an hour possible. Over Long Island, we're going to see wind gusts close to 50. But again, right at the beaches, you're going to start seeing that wind pick up. Here, let me move this to 5 a.m. Let me move this. Just going to inch this along here. Here we are at 6 in the morning, all right? Very strong low-level jet now slamming the east end, and you're seeing these wind gusts possibly over 70 miles an hour. So I'm thinking wind gusts over hurricane force. Possible, definitely possible, definitely a possibility. As this thing moves further east, the winds actually get worse. Here we are it really raced away there. Here we are at 10 a.m. It's moving very fast. That's the saving grace of it. But you can see out over the waters over Nantucket now you're at 86 miles an hour. So these are the kind of winds you're going to be dealing with. And again, we can show you all the different models here. That's the European. Here's the GFS. interpretation of it. So here's a GFS interpretation of it, and this is 2 a.m. And again, you can see that slug of low-level jet from the east coming in there. 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts off the south shore. Look at that, 60, even in the middle of the island. So, yeah, with wind gusts like that, there's going to be a lot of power outages, I think. Moving this along, let's move this along to 4 a.m. You can see it's now over the east end. Wind gusts up to 73 miles an hour. It's a good thing tomorrow is somewhat of a holiday because there may be problems getting around in the morning, especially with the Long Island Railroad. Get that 80-mile-an-hour wind gust there possible. All right, so that is the interpretation of the GFS. Let's look at the NAM model next. So this is the NAM model, a little higher resolution as you can see. Very strong easterly winds here. Look at that, 65-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible. These are the gusts. These aren't the sustained winds that we're looking at, but I wanted to highlight the gusts for you to show you what's going on. If I dial this back and we just look at the sustained wind, which isn't quite as scary. I'll put this back on the GFS. You'll see the sustained winds around midnight are going to be around east 29, but I want to highlight the gusts because that's where the most damage will be. But then you get to, look at that, sustained winds 37 miles an hour, and then if you're at the water, your sustained winds are over 40 miles an hour. So that's what we're going to be dealing with as we get into tomorrow. It's going to be very tomorrow morning. It's going to be a very serious coastal flooding event. All right, speaking of coastal flooding, I guess we go to the waves now. Obviously, we've been through this before already to show you what it's going to be like. Here we are at 4 in the morning, and you will see that we have 16-foot waves coming in. So it's going to be like a mini little quick tropical storm type of condition going on. Think of it like that, like a 3 to 5 hour tropical storm. 16 southeast winds at 16 foot, southeast swell at 16 foot coming in. So these kind of waves are going to do a lot of damage to the south shore, and the east end. They're going to get hit very hard by this. You can see the waves there coming up, and they're going to start to come up probably after midnight. So here are the very strong waves. We're looking at the GFS wave model here, but you can see generally what we're going to be dealing with here. And again, out over the open ocean, you got 20 footers going, so it's going to be pretty crazy with this storm. Like I said, just think of it like a 3 to 5 hour tropical storm. That's what it's going to be like, pretty much. It's going to be very impressive. So the thunder threat is obviously the next threat that we've got to look at. I don't really like using this model for that. So let's go to the Vent2 Sky, and we'll go to the thunderstorm threat, and we will go and look as we get into tomorrow morning. So let's go to the 17th, 4 a.m. Let's see, not much cape, but that looks like a pretty ominous situation. Here's your lifted index, but again, these traditional things, we can't even go by this too much here. That's your helicity right there, but there are some things that really favor severe weather. A lot of wind shear too as well. Let's go to the precipitation. So this is your precipitation. I want to make this a 1 hour precipitation thing. All right, so here we go into tomorrow. All right, it's tomorrow morning. Here we go. So you get an idea of where that heavy rain is, and it's just going to be a belt of just really heavy rain. That's going to just come in. You can see it right there, and that's where the strong winds are going to be. You're going to get some very strong winds with this heavy rain. So it's going to be, think of it like a rain. Think of it like a rain band, like in a tropical storm, because that's what we are going to experience. It's going to be quite something. Fortunately, it happens in the middle of the night. Most all of us are home and won't have to be out in it. But when you get up, there's a good chance that you might not have power, or that you're going to have flooding in your community if you're on the South Shore, and some trees damaged too. When the tree limbs down, the only thing is it's winter, so there aren't leaves on the trees, but still, it's such strong winds. I still think there's going to be some damage to trees. So now we go to the sky, and I'm just going to pull this out so we can take a look and see what happens. Here's Tuesday. You can see, again, we should have some sunshine and more sunshine toward the afternoon, I think. But I want to pull this out a little bit so we can see. This is the European model. So we can see what the European model has for the weekend, because I'm kind of curious what it does with that weekend storm. If it has, see, there's the front, but I want to see if it forms that weekend storm at all. It looks like it suppresses it offshore. Yeah, I don't see the storm here. So it looks like most of the models are suppressing North Shore. You can see the extreme cold that we're going to be dealing with. But first, before we even deal with next week, this storm again is going to be one hell of a storm to deal with, and it's going to be pretty damn serious for our area. And again, I'm just curious to see what Channel 12 is talking about here. And see, I'm sure they are covering this storm quite a bit. So they're ready to. They're talking about it. I don't know if they've evacuated Fire Island, but I wouldn't want to be on Fire Island. I would not want to be on Fire Island or any barrier island for that matter. Long Beach, whatever. I think there's a good chance that I don't think people realize how bad the potential is for significant flooding, and there might even be people needing to be rescued because of that. So we'll have to see what happens as we get into the night. We'll try to keep you updated on this storm. Hopefully the power stays on here. I don't have too much confidence, especially when I look at the power lines around here. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Be safe tonight. Actually, one more thing. Let's go to the briefing on this from the Weather Service, and then I'll wrap it up. So this is just a briefing. We're just going to go over this quickly here with the briefing. Power outages possible. Heavy rain, 1 to 2 inches of rain, very strong. Obviously, you don't want to be out on the water with a boat or even a ship for that matter. So this is a map of some of the precipitation here they have. This is the damaging winds. So the high wind warning for the east end. They may want to extend that into the southwestern Suffolk. 65 mile an hour. I think they're going to be gusts higher than that. I think they're being too conservative. And some of those showers and thunderstorms could be gusts here. So worst further south and east. That's generally the deal, but I think we're all going to get hammered pretty good in about 6 hours or so. So they're talking about the coastal flooding impact. There's a map of some of the coastal flooding impact areas that they have. They're not showing the South Shore for whatever reason. Oh, why aren't they showing the South Shore? Why is this all Connecticut? I don't know why they're not showing. They're only showing that part of Long Island. All right, well, yeah, whatever. They're not showing it, but I'm telling you, there's a significant chance that there's going to be some bad coastal flooding, the worst we've seen in a while with this event. So that's going to wrap up this weather update. Take care. Thanks for watching. Be safe, and I'll try to do my best to keep you informed about what's going to be happening as this situation evolves.